Okay, I think I get the rivalry now. I think Illinois blows out Missouri, and I saw a lot of celebrations in the Sleepers Discord. I saw a lot of celebrations on my television screen. I saw a lot of celebrations on Twitter. I don't think this is just fair weather stuff either. Like, I think this is actually like the most important game of the season to Illinois fans and maybe Missouri fans, probably Missouri fans. Illinois looked incredible. This basketball team is really, really good. And vibes, we like our vibes. Vibes are at an all-time high.
It is currently December 23rd, and there are absolutely no bad body language, no bad vibes. Nothing is going wrong right now with the Illini basketball program. Gregory, I repeat, it is 11:12 a.m. on December 23rd, and everything is as peachy as it could be with the Illini basketball program. I think we prayed for times like this, as the great Meek Mill once said.
Yeah, we have. I mean, I feel like there should be an orchestra accompanying us today. Like, just play like angelic harp strings for the next 20 minutes. Ho, 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 by the way. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, you filthy animals, you filthy Illini. You deserve this. This is a good thing that you deserve that should be wrapped up under your tree in a bow, in a nice little orange bow on Green Street to celebrate for the next week. And then you get Fairleigh Dickinson on December 29th. Fairleigh Dickinson surely has never spoiled any teams that are Big Ten teams that are everything's going right for, right?
I mean, yeah, well, who cares about lowly old Fairleigh Dickinson? But we do need to have one quick thing before we actually break down this game. I want to be known. I get it. A lot of Illini fans came to us. They came to the comments. They came to me personally. They said the bragging rights game. It's bigger than that. Do your history. Mhm. At the end of this, I want the Illini to get a new rival. It doesn't. It just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't.
So counterpoint to this is that this rivalry actually goes back and forth more than most rivalries go. Like Missouri blew them out last year, Illinois blew them out this year. It's definitely alternated in recent years. Brad still has a losing record against Missouri.
So Brad runs the Big Ten, runs Michigan, runs the Big Ten. Honestly, for looking at wins these past couple years, just can't get it done against the Fighting Dennis Gates.
Look, I think Missouri's a better rival for Illinois than like Michigan would be because Michigan can't beat Illinois. So who am I to say they need a better rival? Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm okay with the rivalry. I will. I've poked fun at your team with the McLean Cup for this. It's a rather large trophy. Did you see the trophy? Like this is a rather large trophy to be given out for winning a meaningless December game, which I
I
know has a lot of meaning. Like there's intrinsic meaning in the bragging rights game. I see that. I value that now. I'm on board. This is a great rivalry. But
yeah,
like
I'm
also it's the biggest trophy in sports.
I'm in on bringing in trophies. Like trophies are very relevant in football. They don't really make their way to basketball as much. Like, don't you want to play for what is it? Paul Bunyan?
No.
No, leave it to
No.
football.
I'm out on trophy games in the regular season across the board in college basketball.
Okay.
That's fine. That's for football. Like 60 minutes on the gridiron cart. We're getting our nose dirty. I want people leaving with bloody knuckles at the end of a wintry 60-minute football game. Like, come on. Basketball games are over in like a snap of a finger. We're giving out trophies now, let alone trophies that are like 5 feet tall on their own, standing off the floor. Like Coleman Hawkins was holding that above his head. It looked like it was going to hit the ceiling. Like, I don't get it. And I'm glad they're celebrating. The celebrations were great to see. Illinois, like we said, vibes are all time high. But they're like maybe this is still my bitterness towards the McLean Cup. Your prize, the prowess of Michigan State beating Baylor in a cup game. It carried over into this for me. Why are we playing for cups? Why is every team acting like they just made a Final Four off of a December victory?
I mean, you know the phrase "play for keeps," right?
All I see is a bunch of teams that like to ignore March results in the last 5 years, celebrating in December. That's all I see.
Okay, but let's talk about this game in general.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Illini as a whole. We, I think, have been singing the praises of the Illini and what they've done so far this season, and how well they played. And I think that we've gotten to the point where we really have to start talking about like this Illini team being a team that could go like first, like, had well, I feel like we've only talked about the Illini getting past the first weekend. I think it's time to even go further than that with this team because the makeup of the team, the role players that they have, surrounded by or surrounding an All-American in Terrence Shannon. Like Terrence Shannon was special in this game. I mean, 30 points, 9 for 14 from the field, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, the dude shouldn't be in college. He's showing, and he's an All-American level type player. And as long as they have him, and then you're getting something from the other role guys, whoever it should be. Like Damask in this game goes 0 for 7 from 3, which hurts. But you get 5 for 8 from 3 from Guerrier in this game. You get 28 points from Quincy Guerrier. I mean, it's just this team is deep. They have weapons, and at the end of the day, you have Terrence Shannon Jr. on your team, and that's going to get you to a lot of places.
Yeah, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 16 free throw attempts is the other side of the Terrence Shannon game. He did so much on the floor. You didn't even mention those categories. He is the second best player in the country. I'll say it. I'll go there. I think Terrence Shannon is the second best college basketball player this season. Unfortunately for him, he's behind a guy in his conference in Purdue and Zach Edey. That's not changing. But to me, Terrence, there are two unstoppable, dominant physical forces of nature in this sport, and Terrence Shannon is one. Zach Edey's the other. I think in the way they affect a game, the way that their physical presence impacts a game, I think they're similar. Honestly, Terrence Shannon driving downhill is as unstoppable as a Zach Edey post up. There's just no answer for it. You have to grab him and try and tackle him. Even if you try and tackle him, he's probably going right through you. And now he's added the 3-point shot to a level that we just haven't seen in the past. It's consistent now. I don't know how you guard him at the college level. We always talk about age. He's old. He's been around the block. He's here. And shout out to the NIL era. Shout out to this stuff because you're right. He's an NBA player that I think it's good for him that he gets to still do this in college. He gets to make some money doing it. It's obviously good for Illinois. It's good for their fans. So this is one of the best, I guess, case studies of the NIL era working out for a guy like Terrence Shannon, who might be riding the bench on an NBA roster had he gone pro as a second-round pick last season. But whoever gets him, when he does make it to the draft, whoever gets him is going to be so pleased with what they find. Like, you could throw this kid on any single NBA franchise. He's giving them good minutes tomorrow.
Yeah, easily. And because Missouri stinks, like we predicted, they do. I'm sorry. Sorry to the Missouri fans out there listening to this. Your team stinks. It is what it is. It's okay. You guys got a good recruiting class coming in next season, so you can hang your head on that. But is this Illinois team a serious threat to win the Big Ten? Because me and you have
Yes.
done the tier. We've done the tier thing. We've done,
Yep.
and you have not included Illinois on that tier. Do they
Yep.
belong on that tier now?
Yes, it's time to change the tiers. It's time to change the tiers. I said I would change it when I saw enough. I've seen enough. It's time to change the tiers. Yeah, Illinois belongs in the same conversation with Purdue. Purdue belongs alone at the top of the sport as the number 1 team in the country until proven otherwise. Purdue has had the best non-conference of any team in the sport, even with the Northwestern loss on their resume right now. Like, they have the best resume of any team. They should be the number 1 overall seed. No one's disputing that. Illinois is close to as good as Purdue. In a 1-game sample size, Illinois can beat Purdue. I think Illinois absolutely should intend on splitting with Purdue in the 2 games that they play this season. I think regardless of whether or not they split with Purdue, win 2 against Purdue, win 0 against Purdue, Illinois should be focused and fixated on the fact that they can win this league. They're a half game up on Purdue right now, or a full game up on Purdue right now, right? Purdue already lost to Northwestern. That's a loss you're not supposed to take. So God forbid, man, God forbid Illinois finds a way to beat Purdue at Mackey on January 5th and is sitting there 2 games up in the loss column and they take care of business at home against North. Like, it's all in front of Brad Underwood's team. And while we have critiques of what Painter's done in March, while we have critiques of what Brad Underwood's done in March, to different extents, by the way, it's a very different conversation when you talk about Purdue's failures in March, where they're losing games they're 20-point favorites in, against Brad Underwood's failures in March, where he's losing games they're like 2-point favorites in or underdogs outright in. Like, it's not comparable to say both these teams keep losing when they shouldn't in March. But Brad's been dominant in the regular season, man. I know Purdue was really good last year and won both banners. Brad has been the best coach in this conference that includes Matt Painter and includes Tom Izzo. He's been the best coach in it for 5 years running now. So I trust Brad Underwood more than I trust Matt Painter right now. I like Matt Painter's team slightly more, but Brad himself and the way he talks about this team, man, he's just gushing. Like it's not bullshit. It's not bullshit. He loves this team. And I think this team loves each other. And that's a powerful thing. Like Illinois has always had talent, but you have talent that now likes each other and gets along and wants to hang out when practice ends. Like that's a terrifying thing for everybody else in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, you remove Monster Energy drinks from this team, and they just turn into this, literally. And I loved Matthew Meyer, I did, but like he sacrificed for this. Like he went out the way he went out for this and this Illini team. And look, everything like you said is in front of Purdue. I'm sorry, not in front of Purdue, in front of Illinois, and they are a special basketball team. And like all the conversations that are being had about them, if they aren't already, they should be like they're conversations that need to be had. Like I'm talking Terrence Shannon Jr., first team All American. I'm talking Brad Underwood, possible national coach of the year level type stuff. If you think about it, he did one of the best jobs so far. If we are doing like a end of the year Merry Christmas superlative, I think that Brad Underwood did the best offseason job of any coach in the country. He got back his
Whoa.
All-Americans,
Whoa.
got back his role players, and he put together a team of players surrounded by the two guys that he got back. And I think that's doing a great job. Maybe the freshmen that he got in didn't necessarily contribute the way he wanted to, but that's because the rest of the guys are so good that you don't have to play the freshmen. So, I mean, all the flowers to Brad. And I hope that, once January 1st and 2024 is showing in the year column of the calendar, things don't change, because that is kind of typically when things change. But God forbid this team wins on January 5th against Purdue.
Yeah.
Astronomical levels are going to be reached.
Yeah, it's insane. Brad had a Hall of Fame level press conference last night. I encourage anybody who can to go watch the full tape of it. But our boy Brett from WCIA 3 in Champaign, our news network, our favorite news network, was on site. He was covering
Our
this.
news network.
Yeah, it's our news network. Okay, he put out some video clips of this press conference, and they're fantastic. But I want to just read some Brad Underwood quotes. He said, "They're playing to win. There's no other agendas. There's no me, me, me. There's none of that. There's no knuckleheads. Everything you could think of that you would want in a connected team right now we have." I mean, that's just, hey, Jaden Epps and Sky Clark, who are now on two of the losingest high major teams in the sport. How you guys doing? Hey, Matthew Meyer, how you doing? Like, that's just, and I don't even blame him for it. Brad was right. He was right. I was wrong. I downplayed this all offseason about how it wouldn't matter. And Brad was right. It's incredible. And then another one I loved, he said, "I had to be a man of a man of my word. Our AD came over to watch practice and we were gone." Brad canceled practice on Tuesday this week because he promised his team if they hit 50 shots in a shooting drill that he would cancel practice. And he was like, that's a number. There's no way they're going to sniff that. Like they were hitting 23 in the first couple times they did the drill. They hit 50. He just canceled practice. He's like, all right, we're done. Like, get out of here. And then the AD came to watch and they weren't practicing 2 days before the rivalry game. Like, that's how you know Brad's comfortable with this group, though, man. Like, he can actually pull that little that trick, and the team was still ready. It's crazy.
I kind of like this too. Like, we know what Brad Underwood looks like as a coach when he's comfortable with a team that he's just good with?
Yeah, it's what he looked like with Io. Yeah,
Mm,
which is
okay.
which
It's
is the
good.
scariest version of Brad Underwood.
That's the
Yeah.
scariest version of Coach Underwood. Also, blatant lie that all the knuckleheads are gone. Let's make it unequivocally clear that Coleman Hawkins is a knucklehead. In the best sense, though. I mean that with so much love and affection, but that kid's a knucklehead. He is.
Coleman was great in this game for the record. And look, I think Coleman still needs to do it more consistently. There's no reason he should be averaging less than 10 points a game this season. But the fact that Illinois can be so good with Coleman averaging what he's averaging, and then on nights like this, he pours in 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Like that's what's tantalizing about Coleman Hawkins' impact on this team. And they're getting it for everybody, man. Damask was the best player in the Florida-Atlanta game. Shannon's been the best player in 90% of their games. Quincy Guerrier now had 28 last night. He's had 20 in other games. Like I just see a team that has 1,000 different ways they can beat you. The talent is higher level than I realized, especially with Damask and Guerrier. And I think those guys are excelling in roles. Like, don't get it twisted. Guerrier is not like a top 10 player in the conference suddenly because he's scoring 28 in some games. Guerrier is like the perfect role player. Like, that's what he is. He's playing a role that makes sense, and give Brad Underwood credit, give everybody else on this roster credit, because you're seeing a maximized version of Guerrier that we haven't seen at his other stops in college, and that leads to an elite role player in this conference. It's special stuff. All right, elephant in the room time. We talk about our ops.
Please.
All right, so somebody that speaks about me a lot had some words last night. And because I don't duck smoke, unlike other people, I'll just say his name. Jeremy Werner from 247. From everything I've seen, Jeremy does fantastic work. So I have no animosity towards Jeremy. I have no shade towards that man. You've heard me say this before in regards to other podcasts that seem to take exception to the way we cover Illinois. This is not a dog-eat-dog world. Like, I like other Illinois shows to the point that, like, I think we've honestly crossed the bridge and kind of like gotten to a supportive, happy point with other people who have come out and attacked us. Because I'm not here to say don't go watch those shows. I want Illinois fans to go read Jeremy Werner's work. I want them to go support him. There's no reason you can't do all of it. Jeremy Werner has issues with us and with me specifically. And last night he went on a post-game video or a live stream or something and said, somebody that speaks a lot really gave this team a D grade in the offseason. So Jeremy does not follow me, but he clearly pays attention to what we do. And it seems like when people take exception with us, Cart, it seems like they're throwing shots at our work ethic more than anything. I just want to say that because, yeah, we do speak a lot. You know why we speak a lot? We're the only effing show that's doing 7 hours of content 7 days a week in college basketball. Okay? Like, we're not an Illinois show. We're putting out more Illinois content than any Illinois show that exists. So I won't apologize for that. I won't apologize for the fact that the numbers are good. I won't apologize for the fact that I speak a lot because different platforms pay me to speak a lot. That's where I'm at right now, Jeremy, okay? Would love to have a conversation on it, but we won't have a conversation on it because you just like to talk in coded language and throw shots and throw jabs at the one time that I was negative on this Illinois roster in the offseason for the Field of 68 without giving me any credit for the, 30 videos that we've made in the last 30 days where all we do is praise how great this roster is and openly admit how wrong I was. Like, we've been around the block. I said I was wrong on this episode. I've said I was wrong on the last 20 episodes. So, Jeremy, if you want to be pointed about it and have a real conversation and have a mutual respect for each other, maybe encourage everybody's listeners to listen to each other, as we should be doing, we can do that. If you want to take cheap shots and speak in coded messaging, I guess I can play that game too, but it's not a game I'm as interested in playing, that's for sure. Any words from you, Cart, before I go back to the D grade comment?
I mean, if it's needed, if that game that you mentioned at the end of your statement right there needs to be played, we don't want to play that game. We certainly will. Pretty good at it. Also, the phrase goes, "Don't poke the bear. I am a bear." So, like, let that be known.
Yeah, that's the difference. It's like I feel like a lot of other quote unquote media members, or if they view themselves as competitors, I don't. But if they do, they don't have a 6'7" friend who will get in the smoke. Like that's a very nice differentiator for me that I do not take for granted. But to Jeremy's point on this, my offseason grade was harsh on Illinois. People aren't going to like this. I stand by what I said at the time because the grade of a D grade was not about them getting Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins back. It was about, did they do what they set out to do in the offseason? And look, if you want to criticize anything from that grade, you should criticize the fact that I did not factor in Terrence Shannon's return as a big portion of that grade. Maybe you're right. Maybe this should have been a higher grade strictly because of that. But the way I approached that for the 30 other teams we did those videos for on the Field of 68 was, did the coaching staff succeed at what they tried to do? I gave D grades to about 15 different teams. This wasn't Illinois antagonism. I gave Illinois a D grade because the number one thing Brad Underwood tried to do in the offseason was get a point guard, and he didn't get a point guard. Like, I'm sorry. And looking at it now, by the way, this is a more interesting conversation. They missed on Ray J. Dennis. That was the big target. I missed on Ray J. Dennis hugely. I said Ray J. Dennis wouldn't be an impact player. He looks fantastic for Baylor right now. That's a miss. Another thing I was wrong about. But if you dropped Ray J. Dennis on this Illinois team, Cart, they're a top 3 team in the country right now. Like,
That's facts.
so
Yeah.
let's not sit here and act like missing on the point guards Brad Underwood tried to get was like a good thing in hindsight. No, it still is an issue. And if you had added those guys, then your team's even better than it is. So look, I'm here for it. You want to victory lap it, you want to dance on the grave, fine. It was hard. It was a harsh critique from me, no doubt. In hindsight, I should have factored in Terrence Shannon more. But the grade was about, did Brad do what he tried to do? In my opinion, he didn't. And also, like, I'm sorry, man, but like I understand Terrence Shannon's an NBA player. He should be in the league. He can be in the league. So is Coleman Hawkins in theory. Like, I'm sure the NBA is just salivating over a 22-year-old guy averaging 6 points a game. But like, at a certain point, if you're an NBA player, you're in the NBA.
Yeah.
So like, don't tell me like this isn't a top 5 lottery pick returning to Illinois that Brad Underwood had to persuade to come. Like, they used their NIL on those guys and ended up not having enough money to go get other upgrades. And if you're saying that's all they needed, fine, I'm here for it. The team's obviously very good. We think they can make a Final Four. We think they could win a national championship. They're that good, okay? They're that good. But, like, I don't get dunking on the take that a point guard was the priority.
Right. And also, we've said that multiple times, hence the we talk a lot thing. That's because we do this every single day and we watch a lot of games and we talk about every game and every team because that's what we do. And if we are wrong, the first people that'll tell you we were wrong are the 2 people right now on this video. We have no problem with that. We also stand on business and we don't duck smoke and we don't take shots. And if we do take shots, names will be said. Just let that be known.
Yeah, so just let it know. Like, Jeremy, you can say the name next time. You don't need to tiptoe. You don't need to drop coded somebody that speaks a lot gave us like, just say the name. Say the name. If that's the game you want to play, go ahead and say our name. Heisenberg style, right? Say my name. That's what's going on.
Hey.
Anyways. Also, with that said, if we're just grading the results of the offseason now with the knowledge that we have, no shit, it's an A+. Like, everything has worked out glowingly. It's fantastic. But yeah, the grade at the time was, did they do what they set out to do? Which they objectively did not. The results are fantastic now. So congrats. All right, Illinois, anything to wrap this up? I don't really have any nice way to put a bow on this, but that feels like too negative of a note to go into holiday break on.
Merry Christmas to all you Illini out there, but also at the same time, I know you're at a 10 right now on a scale of 10, as you should be. Your team's amazing. Terrence Shannon's doing amazing. Everything is amazing right now in Champaign. Just bring it to a 9.6 for me because it's not the new year yet. That's it. Get me to January 5th to that game against Purdue. And then we'll decide where we're at, whether we're going one way or the other. Things are still going to be good no matter what. Don't get me wrong. No moral victories, no moral banners. But let's wait until the new year. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's it.
I do feel obligated to acknowledge how crushed you must be by Dane Danger recording a 4 minutes, 0 stats in this game. Any comment from you as the biggest Dane Danger bandwagon guy?
I mean, free him. This game is a 42-point victory if Dane plays.
All right. Understood. Probably a really good sign for Illinois that they don't even need Dane Danger to do this to their rival. Congrats, Illinois. I love watching this team with my true, just bottom of my heart. I have so much fun watching this team every time I watch them. We got to get to Champaign in conference play for sure. That needs to happen. Brad Underwood, Merry Christmas, Daddy Brad. I'm looking forward to, getting the matching PJs on. Me and Ty will come down the stairs. I'm thinking like a 7 a.m. alarm for this one. And, I'm really excited for what you have in store, Dad.